Here is an EOA Live Grande story.
My name is Bryn McLaughlin. I am playing Titania and Hippolyta in this production of Midsummer Night's Dream. It will be the third time that I have played Titania in my life. The first time was at EOU, the second time was with the Grande Shakespeare Company, but now the Grande Shakespeare Company is getting folded in with the Elgin Opera House. So this production will be the unveiling of a brand new space that they're opening next to the Opera House for smaller shows, non-musicals, just providing a larger variety of theater out there. So it's partially the same cast that we did with the Grande Shakespeare Company, but with a bunch of new people mixed in, so it keeps it interesting. Sometimes we do the double casting in Shakespeare for fun, and sometimes we do it to keep the cast a little smaller, and there are two sets of roles that are commonly cast with the same actors. So it's Hippolyta and Theseus who open and close the show, and they're very small parts. They kind of tie the plot together. And then there are Oberon and Titania, who are the king and queen of the fairyland, and they kind of serve as the glue that keeps all of the magical plot together. What's fun about playing two roles at once is that you're not only doing the work that you would do with one character, which for any Shakespeare you spend probably, I want to say 80% of the work is just working with the language. How do we take this language that feels foreign to modern audiences and say it in a way and understand it in a way and emotionalize it in a way on stage that makes it translate very clearly. And that for me is most of the fun with doing a Shakespeare. And then the rest of it is creating relationships with your fellow actors, and with Titania and Oberon, for instance, it's the physicality. How do we take these characters and move in a way that feels larger than life compared to the other actors on stage? We have the acting troupe who gets lost in the woods, and we have the lovers who run into the woods to chase each other and all of that fun stuff. So the fairies have to move in a very different way. They have to, there are no special effects that create the magic. The magic comes from us, from our bodies and our voices and the way that we behave and stuff. So that's the fun of that. And when you play magical creatures and then you turn around and you come back on stage as a human mortal, then you move in a very different way. And I love that. I love playing two different characters where you have to be so particular about the way that you move and the way that you talk and your rhythms and all of that. I love working on A Midsummer Night's Dream because within the Shakespeare canon, a lot of people consider it a perfect play, and I agree. It has three totally separate plots that follow three groups of interesting, delightful characters. You have the lovers, who are just young kids who are trying to figure out who they love and chasing each other around and getting tangled up in fun ways. You have the mechanicals, who are the acting troupe, who are trying to put on a show for the Duke, and they're doing their best, but they're probably not the most equipped to be acting and putting on a play. And then you have the fairyland, which is all these magical creatures, and there are so many different ways to interpret A Midsummer Night's Dream. You see a lot of contemporary adaptations, you see a lot of let's try it, where the fairies are circus performers and they dress like this and move like this, and let's take the forest and make it a metaphor, or let's set it on Mars and there'll be aliens and see what happens. You see a lot of that, but at its core, it is so pure and so delightful when it's just a bunch of people who run into the woods at night, and the woods have this pastoral, lovely magic to them. And all the poetry that we're speaking and all the things that we do are related to flowers and trees and being in the woods. And I don't know, there's just something about it that resonates in its purest form, without any fluff or distractions or attempt to modernize it. And especially in a place like Grande and Elgin, where we're surrounded by mountains and trees and beautiful things, it's perfect. It's so much fun to work on. Nobody has too many lines. Each of the groups are totally different. So in this production, what was fun was we rehearsed each group at different times. So the fairies rehearsed one night of the week, the mechanicals rehearsed another night of the week, and then the lovers would rehearse on their own night. So we didn't really get to see what the other groups had come up with until this last week. And that's just very exciting. So this play performs for 3 weekends total. It opens tonight, and for each weekend we will be doing a Friday and a Saturday evening performance at 7:30 out in Elgin, and on Saturdays we will be doing a 2:30 matinee, and then to cap it all off on our final weekend, three weekends from now, we'll be doing a 2:30 matinee on that Sunday. So what makes this play special, and there are many things that make it special, but one of my favorite parts is that this is the beginning of a huge collaboration between what used to be the Grande Shakespeare Company and what we all know as the Elgin Opera House. And those are two very different styles of theater. They agree with different audiences, they require different acting styles. So what's happening out in Elgin is that Terry Hale, who is the artistic director, is now beginning a partnership with Grant Turner, who founded the Grande Shakespeare Company a couple years ago. So this will be the first show where we are taking all of that work that the Grande Shakespeare Company was doing with language and with acting work and all of that, and we're finding a way to pair it with all of the work that they've done out there with their building, this amazing old restaurant that they've renovated, and with the just general vibrancy and atmosphere that they create with their theater, with their musicals and their big family-friendly comedies and things like that. So it's a very exciting thing to take on because it's the start of something new. It's the beginning of what we hope will be a very long road ahead of us of a variety of different textures of theater, and there will be a musical happening at once while we're rehearsing something else in this other space. We'll be doing Agatha Christie murder mysteries while the actual opera house is doing Annie Get Your Gun or things like that. So yes, the partnership is what is very exciting about this show, in my opinion. Thank you, Eastern Oregon Alive, for making this video, and please like their Facebook page and check out all of their local content that they've got on there.